UTS Consulting Club presents the Mini Case Series, a mini crash course to equip Case Comp newbies with the basics to case competitions. This is the 5th episode of the Mini Case Series. You can find our other episodes on our Mini Case Series webpage on the UTS Consulting Club website. Now that your team is set with the strategy and its feasibility, let's look at how we present it. The presentation part of a case includes both the slides and the pitch itself. In this episode, we will be looking at storyboarding, slide design, and pitching skills. Let's first start off with storyboarding. Storyboarding provides a structure and flow to your presentation. You may already be familiar with the concept of a storyboard that is typically used for scenes for a video or a film. The use of storyboarding in the context of a case presentation is quite similar. In a case, storyboarding is used to plan the logic and flow of your presentation's narrative. To help guide you in your presentation's narrative, a way of structuring your storyboard is breaking it up into key sections. There is no hard and fast way of structuring your storyboard and the slides itself, but this is just one way of doing it. First off, start with your situation or opportunity section, also known as the analysis. This is where you talk about the relevant factors to your external and internal environment impacting the case company. This is where you want to show your analysis of the case and help set up the problem you are defining. Next, we moved on to the problem. Problem is where we identify the core issues the company is currently experiencing and where we would put our problem statement. After problem, you have solution. This is where you recommend your team's strategies, explaining what it is, how it works, and highlighting its benefits. Last but not least, you would then flesh out the feasibility through implementation. As can be seen in the blue arrows, you would have your introduction and executive summary. When presenting the introduction and executive summary, it is an opportunity to set the tone of your pitch. In addition, the conclusion of your pitch has the ability to leave a positive lasting impression with the judges. Storyboarding is planning the narrative of your presentation before you create the slides. Here is an example of how you would storyboard your slides before you actually start creating them. It helps to draw this up on a whiteboard or somewhere where all your teammates can see. That way, the whole team is informed of the narrative of your presentation. As can be seen in this example, the storyboard starts off with an executive summary, followed by the situational analysis, the complication, the problem, and then followed by the recommendations and so on. The main takeaway here is to plan your storyboard before making your slides, so a clear and logical structure is retained when your team members break off individually and work on their slides. Now that you've done storyboarding, it's now time to design the slides. When designing your slides, aim to include consulting sentences, slide tickers, vertical and horizontal logic, and visual simplification. Consulting sentences are used in case presentations to succinctly summarize the content of each slide in one sentence. A key part of case presentations is having a logical flow of ideas, and much like a narrative, each slide has a part in this story. This is where consulting sentences come in. Based on your storyboarding, you'll use this plan to come up with your consulting sentences. These consulting sentences are placed at the top of each slide and where you will summarize the main point that the slide is saying. So essentially the one key message you want your audience to take away from that slide. Consulting sentences are to be short, succinct, and assertive. Assertive meaning using an active voice. By having an active voice, the message given is more direct and impactful. Here is an example showing the narrative-like flow of the consulting sentences from each slide. On slide 1 it says, Maya is facing intense price competition and lost market share in the retail industry, with the next slide continuing on this story. The business model fails to deliver the convenience and customizations consumers expect. Followed by the third slide sentence, a 24/7 online customer service team will increase convenience and customization, and so on. Here you can see the consulting sentences make a logical flow and forms a type of narrative. At the top of this slide, we have a consulting sentence. Here we can see it is placed at the top of the slide and is a short and active sentence. When teams present, the audience has a lot of information to digest and can often find it hard to pinpoint what section the team is presenting on. A slide ticker is a simple yet a powerful tool in displaying the structure of your presentation. Here are some examples of what a ticker can look like. Typically, you want to have 3 to 4 sections in your ticker, and you can change it to however you have structured your presentation. The sections in these examples are just common ways people have structured their presentation. There is no set rule of what you should go in your ticker, however, they should be aligned to the structure of your presentation. Now we have taken a look at the structure of the whole presentation itself. How would we actually structure the slides? In consulting and in the context of case competitions, vertical and horizontal logic is used as a way of structuring the flow of your ideas. As shown in this example slide, the consulting sentence is at the top. We can also see the flow of ideas work vertically, down the page, and then horizontally, from left to right. The human eye naturally falls from top to bottom and then left to right, hence why it is called vertical and horizontal logic. By using the principle of vertical and horizontal logic, the audience is able to follow along with the progression of your ideas and is not overwhelmed by information placed all over the page. In order to have a coherent presentation, it's important to have visual simplification. The first way to do this is through simplification through icons. Try to simplify the information you want to put on your slide with icons. Icons are a great way of providing a visual representation of what you are saying and helps to break up chunks of text. Second, aim to have minimal text. While it is important to have enough text to convey your message, it is important you don't overwhelm the audience with lots of information on the page. The key here is less is more. The audience is likely to lose focus if there is too much information, so make sure it's short and concise. Third, use a consistent color scheme. Back to the saying, less is more. Try to keep a consistent color scheme and limit the number of colors you use. If there are too many colors, this can become distracting to the audience and can become unprofessional. Some teams like to match the colors of their slide deck to the brand colors of the case company. This adds a more personalized touch to the presentation. Now that you've created your slide deck, it is now time to pitch your idea. The key things you want to have in mind when preparing for your pitch is ensuring speakers have a controlled pace, have strong segues between speakers, and are adequately prepared for question and answer time. Let's take a look at having controlled pace. It is very natural for people to speak fast when they are nervous or if they are pushed for time. This may make it hard for the judges to grasp what you are saying, so remember to slow down your speech and pause and take a breath. Pauses are good opportunities for the audience to stop and digest the information you've just given them. Strong segues. Within the 10 minutes of your presentation, strong segues are great ways to indicate to the audience where you are in your presentation. In order to have a strong segue, you need to have a clear handover to the next speaker and signpost what that speaker is saying. Adequately preparing for question and answer time. Q&A, also known as question time, is the opportunity for the judges to ask the team questions about their idea. To better prepare for Q&A, it helps to anticipate the expected questions the judges will ask you. Once you've come up with this list of questions, it helps to then allocate these amongst your team members so you know who will be covering what area. It is also important that in answering Q&A, no more than 2 people answer a question. This ensures the answer is succinct and reduces the chance of saying unnecessary information. It is also important that when you are answering, you are open and willing to consider the thoughts of the judges. To recap episode 5, presenting your solution, we want to first structure our presentation through storyboarding. This is where we structure and plan the narrative of our presentation. When constructing your slide deck, ensure you are incorporating consulting sentences, slide tickers, vertical and horizontal logic, and visual simplification. Last but not least, remember to practice your pitching skills. This means working on having a controlled pace, having strong segues, and adequately preparing for Q&A. This concludes episode 5, presenting your solution. This is the last episode of the mini case series. Thanks for watching UTS Consulting Club's mini case series. If you would like more insight into case competitions, our events, or our workshops, feel free to head to our website and follow us on Facebook at UTS Consulting Club.